together. You will end up in slavery. Because Joseph married a Pharaoh, Jacob left promise to go be in Goshen. That was the promised land. Because Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that's what God told Jacob to go live there. God did not give you enough instructions, so you should have left it alone. Jacob was living in the promise. But the moment the son that he loved stepped up and said, hey, get over here, he went to go live with him. God did not tell you to do that. God did not give Jacob an edict to go live in Goshen. The only edict that was dropped was to go live in promise. But promise didn't look like promise, did it? Promise should look like grapes, big grapes, and good things. Promise. It was a promised land. It was Canaan. Why didn't it look like promise? Because they had never lived through the wilderness and got through it. There was a reason why there was no food in that land. Because they were supposed to start surviving off of, I read it, in the wilderness, there's about 6 roots that grow in the wilderness, and everything is edible. They were supposed to learn how to live in the wilderness and learn how to call on the God that they needed. They were talking about each other, causing destruction, family problems. They had a lot of issues going on, but nobody was praying. They're supposed to learn how to pray better, call on God better, and they would have been the source that Egypt came to. I promise you, they would have been the source that the world came to. Your land is bankrupt because you won't bankrupt your life and get on your knees. You need to bankrupt your life as a prize. Bankrupt the drama, bankrupt your mouth, bankrupt what you're getting into, bankrupt the issues, bankrupt the isms, bankrupt the schisms, bankrupt your talk, bankrupt your walk with a way. You need to get on your knees and start praying. You're not praying in your house. That's why your house is not delivering anything. You are said to be a deliverer. You are a woman. You're supposed to bear and deliver. The man is supposed to protect and provide. You're supposed to bear and deliver if you're a woman. And if nothing's coming out of your house, you're not bearing and delivering. That's because of the fact that you are bankrupt in your house. And your house is bankrupt because no seed has been planted in it. And if no seed has been planted in it, it's because of the fact that the ground is not fertile. If the ground's not fertile, then God will not use it. Your ground may look a little nice and soft, but you need to keep praying over it so that the word is cultivated in it, because God can only till the seeds that He is planting and till the seed that He wants to plant so that you could bear and deliver. You can only do that if you are bankrupting the drama and bankrolling God. They were in the promised land. God told Jacob, leave Laban land to go to Canaan. He had promises for him. And when Joseph showed his face, oh no, he immediately forgot what God said and went to go live with Joseph. Your son has married a man. Started calling him king. And you leave the spot where the King of Kings put you so that you could go there and live with him. Your spot will produce grapes that will be too heavy for you to carry, and you go to Goshen. Grapes for Goshen. Goshen for grapes. I don't know. You want to go Goshen for grapes? God promised us great things here, but I want to see the grapes. Let's go to Goshen with Joseph. He wouldn't leave Laban land, even though Laban was torturing him. He wouldn't leave Laban land until God told him to. But then you get to where God told you to go, and you are quick to leave the moment that Joseph pops up. Your son married a man, and now you are after your son. You trying to be a bridesmaid. That's why there's a curse on the gay and lesbian marriage. I'm not coming against it. It's just there's a curse on it. God is not pleased, just like God is not pleased with liars. There's a curse on liars, and it's worse than gay and lesbian marriage, because God abhors a liar. It does not say God abhors lesbians. But there's a curse on the lesbian and gay marriage, because further down your line, further down that you can see, nothing will pop up of slavery in your family. You're calling for a curse based on your desire. You are looking at a tree instead of becoming it. If you became the seed, God will plant the tree. He will be the tree that you planted. He will till you, cultivate you, right, in the spot where He put you. You're supposed to bloom where you planted, right? And then as you grow, people will be able to come and eat off of you. And He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. He wants you to be that tree instead of standing by it. Because when you stand by it, and God has to remind you, I gave you the gift that you've been waiting for 25 years. They're waiting for over 25 years. I gave you the gift that you were waiting for, and now you forget me. I told you your wife would be pregnant, and by this time next year, when I come back here, your wife will have a son. That's what He said. When I come back here, by this time next year. Abraham forgot. You know where he went? In the tent. He ended up in the tent with his son and his wife, worshiping the son. That's what God said, Abraham, go burn your son. Because anything that you call a God, God will ask you to burn. God will ask you to sacrifice. God will ask you to present as a sacrifice. So he's worshiping his son. He's worshiping his son. So happy over my son, you be happy over your son, but do not worship him. Do not put him before God. I watched Peter and Mary fry. Mary was holding that baby, and Peter, the moment I walked in, Peter had that baby on my shoulder. I see everything. I don't watch everything, but I see everything. Peter was fawning over that baby, holding that baby. They had been waiting to have a baby. He loved that baby, holding that baby up, calling that baby. The moment it was time for Peter for us to do worship, Peter was worshiping. Gave Mary that baby and started lifting his hands up and worshiping God. Then he went up on a platform. They started talking about it. They called Pastor Randy called Mary up so we could see the baby. She came up to the stage. She said something. She had the baby. Then she took that baby and walked back down the stairs. Peter stayed up there and he preached. And then he wasn't thinking about that baby. Peter preached about prayer. He didn't preach about Elijah. He didn't preach about the baby. He didn't preach about we have so much fun with our baby. He got up and talked about God. He talked about praying and fasting. If you want to pray and fast for something, that's okay. But don't take the gift that God gives you and start worshiping the gift itself instead of the gift giver. He's the one that gave it to you. Don't put Goshen before your God. Don't put Goshen before your grapes. Because at the end of the day, you get nothing but curse and wilderness if you don't recognize that God is the God of the grapes. The grapes grew after they left. After Jacob and his family went to Goshen, in the very same spot where God said was promised, the Canaanites and Hittites and the Perizzites started residing, and grapes grew there after Jacob gave it up. When you give up your promise, it's not so easy for you to get back in because those seeds were planted. It wasn't the fact that the giants were there. Those seeds were planted for big grapes. Those seeds were in the ground. That's why God told them to go there. But it's not the fact that giants planted it. It was the fact that you were supposed to be planted there. And because you did not stay there, your enemy always sees. Satan, that's why Satan fights you so hard, because he sees where you're headed. He always sees more in the ground that you're supposed to be planted on, or sees more in the ground that you're supposed to be than you do. God plants you as a tree. You got up as a seed and walked to Goshen. The enemy sees more in your ground than you do. He knows what's going to happen with your ground. He knows the people that you're supposed to reach. So he goes to discourage you. Don't stay here in promise. Go to Goshen. Your son over in Goshen. Why are you going to stay in promise? Do this look like promise to you? He suggests that God has left you, and you believe it. You believe that God has left you, so you go to Goshen. And when you finally end up in slavery and realize you were not supposed to leave, you get led back. Because here's the thing, Joseph said, no matter what happens, don't leave my body here. He knew that the land was cursed. Otherwise, he would have been found being buried there. He did not want his body buried there. He said, take my bones. When you leave here in 400 years from slavery, take my bones. He prophesied and told them that it was going to happen. He knew. He brought his family into slavery. He said, don't leave me here. Take my bones with you. I got skin. I ain't got sinews. I got veins. I ain't got blood. Take the bones. Whatever's left, take it. Take the bones dust. Take it. Take the casket. I don't care. Don't leave nothing on my body here. They did it. But they didn't think about why he said it. You always have to come back to your promised land. Always have to come back to the promise. But when you do, what does that promise look like? Hallelujah. Does it look like land that has not been inhabited? Does it look like a cave, a tomb, a Machpelah? Does it look like a tent? Does it look like a terebinth? Does it look like a tree? Does it look like Abraham? Does it look like a Sarah? Does it look like a father of many nations? Or does it look like a princess? Does it look like? What does it look like? What does it look like? What does your promise look like? I'm leaving Goshen. I'm going to promise. And I'm not going back. I should have ended up in Goshen, but I saw something I liked. I saw Joseph. He was calling me back. But I'm going to Goshen. I'm not going back. I'm sorry, I'm going to promise. I'm not going back. It's easy to become the tree. It's easier because God plants seeds. He does not plant plants. So it's easy for us if God is throwing seed, it's easy for us to just be the tree. God throws seed that becomes a tree. That's why it says that he shall be like a tree. But Abraham went and sat next to a tree. It's an abomination. But Jesus still met him and sat with him and ate. See, we're supposed to be like the tree. We're supposed to be the tree, right? Producing. The thing is, Isaac did not have to take 25 years to come. If we're supposed to be like a tree and produce, he's supposed to provide and protect, and she's supposed to bear and deliver. We're supposed to be producing, right? If we're supposed to produce, why is nothing coming out of us? They were not supposed to wait that long for the promise. They were on promised land. They were living in Canaan. They were not supposed to wait that long for the promise. They were sitting next to a tree instead of being the tree. They were sitting next to the tree instead of being the tree. God had planted them. The Bible says that he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth fruit in their season. Right? God said he was supposed to have a promised child. It was his season to have it. Why did it take so long?